What?
Stephen Howard or Stephen Smith. Steve Smith.
111, right. I think he watched it too. I think he's a liar.
Have somebody credible come up and say something about me.
Of all cultures around the table, and I'm at the head of the. They put me at the head of the damn table. Well, the head of the table is usually the boss. So here. I am speaking. I'm the only.
Look, Charlie K says, "Here comes the trolls." I don't really see much of y'all going over there, so I don't know what he's talking about.
I want to stand
JP Fluff's in there, moron, lies.
up, and everybody.
They're gonna be deleting all of you guys.
Anyways, I get my speech. I get a standing ovation. And everybody's like, yeah, la, 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 la. Well, what the field, what the doctor are you? And I'm like, that's pretty damn good for somebody who's not a doctor in the medical field. I just pat my spoon on the table. And they're like, oh, Lord. Everybody's got their mouth dropped after they gave me a standing ovation already. So it's funny as hell.
I have to be nice to Ernie in the chatter. They're going to remove me. So I said, glad you're back, Ernie, even though I'm fucking not.
And they're like, well, what's the business? Or what are you in? I said, I'm in the entertainment business. And everybody's, ha, 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 ha.
He's in the entertainment business.
Now we've got 3 more to go to. They've invited me to every one of them. What is this?
Look, the lone she-wolf says, why can't you people leave that man alone? Well, why can't you leave my chat alone, the lone she-wolf? Why are you in here? Why are you obsessed with rap? Obviously you are. You wouldn't be watching. So he's a liar and a scammer, and his daddy never loved him. Why don't you look into him?
So they concurred, basically.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Laura Carter says, Ernie, why do you lie all the time?
Really good.
Pretty sure Laura Carter used to be on his channel. Ernie, does MAGA know you are creeping on YouTube while she's at work?
Well,
He's going to be in so much trouble when she finds out, Bucky Moonshine says. Ernie's not back. He is visiting.
Another person in the chat out here. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Just want to bring awareness to him. You got awareness, so to speak. No pun intended. General awareness. The rap's in the channel. You kind of bring, again, that's what we talked about yesterday about how it's going to be hard trying to leave out of here, without bringing, somebody's
okay, Laura. I'm not sure there's so many people, Laura, but let's correct it. No, I wasn't rap. I've followed you since day one. Well, Laura Carter, I'm so glad you followed me since day one. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. Sorry about my slip up there. I hope he wears Affliction shirt. Hopefully. Please forgive me, Laura Carter. There's so many people. Yeah, and he might have set his brother up for murder. You're damn right. That's a very high possibility. Hopefully Laura Carter isn't mad at me. Yes, that's Griff. Go away, lonely she-wolf. Go be lonely somewhere with your Wolverine. I'm the one he called ugly when he was eating the barbecue. I remember that, and you're not ugly, Laura. You have a beautiful soul.
It's good that you're able to get out and enjoy life a little bit. How is MAGA doing? Are you there? Have we lost Ernie? Ernie, have we lost you?
Wait, what? Jimbo is interviewing that kid today. That should be interesting. Jimbo's interviewing a kid? Which kid? Thanks, love you and smoking my mama. We love you too, Laura. Which kid, green-eyed lady? Jimbo's interviewing a kid? That doesn't fucking surprise me. You failed at rapping. That's why you were on YouTube. Funny you say that, Lone She Wolf. I've never tried to be a rapper a day in my life. I've actually helped rappers, a thing called artist development and branding and marketing. There's way more to the music industry than just trying to rap, right? Never tried being a rapper, Lone She Wolf. Nice fucking try. Look, this is the cult mentality right here. Right here in real time, you're watching the cult mentality. The one in the video with Ernie. Oh, Ethan? Oh, the one that was living with him in that video. Okay. Got it. Wow, that'll be an interesting interview. I've never tried being a rapper a day in my life, Lone She Wolf. You're fucking funny. I told you, General Awareness. I texted her. He was on YouTube. Well, thank you for that. I don't know if he did or not, Cowherd 3. I'm not going to sit here and say he did.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, sorry. Just by
Can you guys
speaking of
hear me?
MAGA, how's everything going with you and MAGA? Thing going good?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
How's
good
everything
deal.
going with you and MAGA in your private lives now? Everything going good?
Oh man, I've got so much free time. And yesterday, well, when was it? Was it last night? No, it was not
Wait a
before
minute.
last.
He said he's got so much free time, but he's supposed to be in a fickle skip tracer for a bunch of lawyers, remember? So how does he have free time, bunch of free time, if he's supposed to be in a fickle skip tracer for all these lawyers?
I got to see exactly how free I was. I went to New York. They have these underground fights. I think I was telling you about it in the text.
Yeah, you told me.
And oh my God, dude. Just to see, you know, what kind of competition was out there and if I still had it. I still have it, but I'm not as fast as I was. And those left hands, they don't have quite the impact as they used to.
Right.
So I put a picture up on Facebook.
It's called getting older, aren't you?
Oh God, man, I know. And just for a few $100 too, man. I didn't like that a bit. That ain't worth, you know, getting your face all messed up and everything for a few $100.
No.
Which I've got a place. If she's seen in my eye and everything, I've got a place, a real bad place in my eye right now where it got hit by a hand. The finger hit me in the eye and it kind of messed my vision up a little bit. But I'm okay. But you know, I'm kind of glad, man, to get away from YouTube. But it does leave a big empty spot.
You're not getting away from YouTube if you're on YouTube, Ernie. Good grief.
Like
Right.
free time, and because I mean I was doing lives, you know, you wouldn't imagine, you know, you're doing a couple lives a day, you know, a couple hours at a
He
time.
didn't. Good point there, Barely Human. He didn't answer. Hold on, let me go pin your comment. He didn't answer how things are with him and MAGA are going, right? Is the Liberators in his chat? I don't see them. They're probably tending to the chickens, Lisa Bradley. He wasn't gone more than 48 hours. Nope.
Time, and then you don't have that space no more, and you don't have that spot to fill, so you got all this vacant time.
That's true. You got to fill it somehow.
So
You got to fill it somehow.
exactly, and it was kind of hard. It's been kind of rough. I ain't gonna lie, but in a way, I feel more secure now, and I feel more, you know, kind of at home, I guess.
I got you. They, you know, again, I wasn't expecting you to come on this early. I didn't think that I thought you'd stay out of it a little bit longer, which I'm not saying you haven't stayed out of it. I'm not saying.
Exactly, Griff. You just called him out. I didn't think he'd come back this early. That is Daniela's old house. She sold it for $1.25 million on 6/15/22. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that they didn't currently live there because it just, you know, the floors didn't match and things didn't match what Ernie currently was, you know, streaming in. So that would make more sense if that really is her and she sold the house. That would make a lot of sense. Thank you, Ruby, for that information. Working and listening. Cool deal. He's gonna burn through all that MAGA money. Yeah, he will, Giggles.
Saying you are staying out of it. I mean, you're coming on panel. That's a big step.
Well, yeah, but I'm just like, but I'm not doing no lives. I'm not doing no lives, and I'll throw a video or two.
I don't want you to think. I don't want you to think that I was trying to bring you out.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think. Again, somebody made a comment a while ago. We were talking about clout chasing earlier. You know, it's significant to point out that, you know, whenever, you know, you're gonna bring it. You're gonna bring it.
It's fine. I think that Daniela is really her though.
Crowd with you. They're always going to be around. There's going to be those that want to solicit your information. They want to stream you. I wouldn't be surprised now if somebody's not streaming this right now. Just
we're streaming you, Griff.
To utilize that against you. Whatever they
we're streaming.
can. But it's the point of, to me, by you stepping out, you're allowing these people the chance to try to create their own damn scenarios. If they can come out, if they actually are going to be creators, what are they going to talk about other than you, or in general?
Well, I have one thing they're going to be talking about, is that big, sexy, heat-seeking missile.
No, I doubt it.
That was a good question to ask me, by the way, too.
Uh-huh.
That's a good question to ask. Verification.
Uh-huh. What's that?
That heat-seeking missile.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's usually, now that everybody knows it's down, now we're going to change it up a little bit next time. That way I know for sure. Let's change it up. But yeah. It's just for clarity. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. We've been down these roads. We've seen everything's going on. What you're seeing now, and mind you, you've got a friendship. It's hard to damn erase friendships. And I'm just as far as to be clear, what I'm trying to get at, you got one now that is just showing pretty much, and from my point of view, it might not be from what you're thinking. My point of view, what I'm looking at from the outside looking in, is this person is showing his true colors, as far as I'm concerned.
And that's what it's made to do. That's what
Griff is a super genius. He's got it all figured out. Hey, rapping everyone in chat. I'm at work, so I'm listening in today. Is Ernie back already? I knew he wouldn't stay off YouTube long. Yeah, he's already back. And Chad, thank you for the 5-bomb cash app. I appreciate that.
That's why I did what I did. I left YouTube because I knew that people would turn their backs and do what they did. And I know they would fall. I know they would either go one side or the other. But that's the true test of loyalty, too, if you look at it that way.
That's true. Yes, it is true. And there was a statement, and like I said, that I want to know, just when it comes to you and Jimbo, I'd be amiss if I didn't ask this question. When you was going out doing your thing with your predator hunting, trying to help kids and all,
it was fake stings, fucking Griff.
You've struck on before. Was there more than one? Was there times that you actually brought children into his I have to ask this question. You ain't got to answer if you don't want to.
Well, let me. No, I never brought. I know what you're asking. And I went back and checked that out, and I'm going to tell you about what we was talking about on that. Jimbo had taken in a child who had been sexually abused and been beaten. He actually made news. I think I sent you the link on that, didn't I? Did I send you the link? So his mom and dad had held him, or his stepdad had held him down. I think his name's Steve Smith, or Howard Smith. Sorry about that, Howard Smith or something like that. Anyways, he held this kid down. It was the one that he put the video up, said that he gave it to Lisa and said that I was flirting.
Of course, they put you in timeout, Laura.
With him, he was gay or something like that. Anyway, it was that kid. Well, they took that child in, and it didn't have no kind of clothes, didn't have nothing, was thrown out. Jimbo and Thelma,
this sounds planned. They sent him a link, Bridget.
Took him in. Let me tell you what happened to that kid. Jimbo don't speak on this. Jimbo don't talk about this, what he done to that kid. I wasn't present when this happened, because when I came to visit for court, he had already been gone, and I said, "Where's Steve at? Where's Steven at?" And he's like, "Oh, Thelma throwed him out." I was like, "Throwed him out? How do you throw a kid out?" And he said he got into an argument with Hunter, our child, and she threw him out. Well, kids are going to argue. Right. That just goes to show you. And if you want to look the kid up, you can look the kid up and everything, and his dad. And he made almost world news the year prior to that, because his stepdad had held him down and tried to suffocate him or break his neck or something like that. But it was all over the news. It was all over the news.
Yeah, that was back in 2021, wasn't it? January 2021.
Yeah, it was 2021.
Yeah, I seen. Matter of fact, Consequences done a video about it, a short not too long ago, that kind of caught my attention.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but that's something.
Come across I happened to see it where they had they took the child in, and the child was on off the streets. They took him in, and they had had an issue with him and his son, Jimbo's son, and his child had a disagreement. They kicked him out. The child ended up going back, and later on, the mother and father both. The mother, I think, the foster mother, I think it was foster parents, wasn't it? Or was it actually real parents?
I think it said foster.
I think it was foster parents. What it said, they had tried to strangle him with a cord or something that tried to suffocate him.
Yeah. They really tried to. They done a number to him, and you can imagine what it done to that child's mind. I sat and talked to that child a little bit, and he would tell me like some wicked things that family had done to him, and they just didn't accept him or something. I don't know exactly what it was. They got into an argument, but anyways, the moral of it is, Jimbo thought he could make money off of him by bringing him in, and after he got him comfortable, tell his story, because that's what content, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
the kid wanted to do YouTube. But Jimbo was like,
well, Asia, this is some really interesting shit, so I understand why your friend sitting next to you wants to listen in.
well, Ernie can show you how you can do YouTube. So he tried to bring me in, trying to say, I can show him how to do YouTube. I said, I can show you how to set it up, but your passion is what's going to do it. Your passion is what's going to lead you to your channel and, all that. So I was like, what do you like to do and stuff? And of course, he liked that fashion stuff, which I'm not no good at fashion anyways. Anybody that wears leather wristbands is not a fashion person.
We all know you're not in the fashion, Ernie. You wear a belt buckle, 2 clip phone cases on each side, a cut-off affliction shirt with some white running tennis shoes, and a fucking cowboy hat, Ernie. Shell carrying a Mountain Dew can. We all know you ain't about fashion.
So, so I was like, okay, cool.
Only you can say that about yourself, Ernie. Only you can say that. Only you can get about yourself, baby.
And I have to say it like that. So,
Hey.
and now I'm, I don't watch YouTube and I don't watch none of the creators. I mean, somebody had sent me this link. I think Ricky sent me this link in this chat we've got.
If it's true Jimbo's interviewing that kid, that's exactly why Ernie's back on YouTube, to try to discredit the video coming. For sure. For sure.
I was like, the hell's Griff up to? Click. I saying, just watching and everything. And I seen, I'll be damned, my name right there, right in the comments, Ernie. Boom. I was like, okay, I got to get this. So I had this little special profile here.
Exactly, Heather. How convenient for Ernie to come back today to talk about this kid before Jimbo talks about it.
So I could, go on YouTube and watch and look and, panel a little bit here and there, but not saying I'm live or nothing like that. So
I understand.
That's pretty much.
I got you full run. You got to defend yourself sometimes. And if I've said anything out of context, I want you to defend yourself and to straighten anything out.
No, you guys are good. You guys are good.
A photo that I want you to look at, and I want you to show the chat. Stella had posted it and then quickly dirty deleted the photo.
Uh-huh.
And the photo is allegedly of the suitcase with the toys, okay?
Right.
But I can't tell in the photo, is this a reflection of a young man in, like, when taking a picture of this? Or is this actually a picture of this young man inside of the suitcase?
No shit. Yeah, send it and
so
I'll show it.
I'm going to send it right now. I hadn't had a perfect opportunity to bring this up yet, but I think it's very fitting if this is that child, or maybe it's a reflection of Jimbo's son taking a photo of something, of this fake suitcase, and then Stella realized.
Interesting.
Oh, there's a kid in that. So I'm going to send that to you right now, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Ernie said Jimbo and BK have been working together. Well, that's obvious. They're sucking each other's dicks off, and they love underage girls. So, do they know you're streaming? No, go tell them. Go tell them Rapper's streaming.
And I'm liking what the missus is doing with this. This is pretty cool.
Well, this is her channel.
Well, I try to bring out what's important and what matters in life, for everybody's community, not just here on the YouTube streets. We all need to give back to our community. We all need to know what people are doing, as far as the cyberbullying, the hate crimes. We got
Asia, I think the suitcase is black. Once I get the picture, I will show it.
A hate crime that's going on right now that we're involved in that is fixing to make national news. If you've been following our channel, we had several creators go into a certain group of people and just horrible. They, to the point that where they made this young boy feel like his life didn't matter, that he tried to commit suicide, and now these
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. So now these creators are trying to say, it wasn't them, it was their subscribers. Well, if you promoted it, they followed what you had to say, so you're just as involved in it as they are,
Right.
And it needs to be brought out. You can't, just because somebody doesn't look like you and talk like you and act like you, that don't give you the right to go and start hell hacking these people and tormenting them and, just putting their life as you see fit out there on YouTube for anybody to see. It's just wrong. And I don't stand for that.
We need to save the children. That's right. That's true.
Yeah, I need to save the children from Ernie Shell and Jimbo Collins and Benny Keys. All right, let's see here. I got the picture. I'm going to let y'all do your own judgment. Because I don't know. Is this inside of a suitcase? I can't tell, but there's a picture of the boy she's talking about, and definitely not a reflection, from my opinion. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on with this photo. Send Griffin and his wife some mustard and biscuits. They sound hungry. I'm not sure where their camper's at. I can 110% say for certain that yes, that suitcase is Ernie's, and yes, that's Steven's picture. Weird. Very weird. I don't know what the fuck that is. All I know is it's some creepy shit. It does look like kind of like a school photo, don't it? It's definitely a picture. It's definitely not somebody in a suitcase.
That's true. We need to save the children. That's right. Show your face. We need to save the children. But Ernie, what do you think about? I might ask you some of the things that's been coming in light lately on YouTube. For one thing,
yes, Virginia, it is.
BK's back in the damn spotlight again. He's trying to sell letters of Shelby's.
Well, I'll give you the letters. I mean, I was the one to give them to Jimbo. You think I'd ever give anything Jimbo that would be of use anyways? There's 7 letters in that whole damn bunch that I gave him that's actually worth a fuck anyways.
Exactly, Ernie.
Yeah.
If you want them, I'll sell them to you too. Hell, I don't.
But now he's selling them. What do you think about that? Him selling to you? I mean, selling letters to
Well,
Shelby.
BK and Jimbo's been working together. They've been working together. They was trying to take down Rap and Nicolina. And
they ain't doing a good job at all. Ernie just called you out, bitches. Benny, shame on you for teaming up with the pedo who marries 12-year-olds. He turned that new leaf right over and supports pedos now, huh? Benny and Jimbo sitting in a tree. KISSING. Who would have thunk it? BK and Jimbo are working together. They've been working together to try to take down Rap and Nicolina, and they fucking suck at it. They suck at this. Take down this shit. Yeah, they suck at this shit. They're so jealous of the money that Rap and Nicolina make on YouTube because we have great fucking supporters who donate us for our entertainment and our time. They get so jealous over that shit. Benny's watching right now. Jimbo's watching right now, and every time they hear the Cash App go off, they get fucking pissed. Benny's whole live about the Shelby letters, he was talking about the Clown Island money and charging me a $1,500 a fucking letter. I don't want them, Benny. You can burn them all. There ain't nothing in there that I can use, Benny. So keep on trying, bitch. I know you want my address really bad, but you ain't gonna get it. Nice try, motherfucker.
that's, Jimbo pretty much got all the addresses and stuff from BK, who BK tried to have me do some things for him, but I tried to stay out of it. BK's the one that told me about Descript. If you guys want to check out Descript, you can check out Descript. I'm not going to say much about it.
Every time we say BK, he barks.
Yeah, our dog don't like the word BK.
That's probably because he stabs dogs.
Nope.
But it's for instance, for that matter, you gotta the issue with the videotape of Maga's child. What is the relevance of having a video camera set up in a bathroom of a house?
Well, Jimbo has to Jimbo has to cover himself with cameras everywhere he goes, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason Jimbo has been evicted like 5 times in the last 3 years. So think about it. I mean,
Cash App.
Yeah, Jimbo's been
Thank
evicted.
you, Mama She 13 for the 50 bomb cash after. Fuck BK and Jimbo. They just got pissed. BK's punching air now. I'm burning another letter. Hey, BK, how about every cash app that comes through, you burn another letter for us, BK? Why don't you go ahead and do that? Because we don't want your fucking letters, BK. We don't want them. They're irrelevant. We can talk to Shelby our damn selves.
Like 5 times the last 3 years. He's had to move like 20 times in his whole damn life, or 22 times. I don't even know. I moved him
Thank you,
about
Mama
17
She.
of those.
What is the point for that though? Just to clarify that, what's the issue with that? What's going on in that house that that he
Well, Jimbo gets one big lump of sum of money, and that's what he has to have for the rest of the month. And well, I hear they have real terrible spending habits.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well,
That don't really make it. It's
Yes,
not really
30. He's back already.
coinciding. I understand the relevance. I don't see the relevance in why he's got to have the cameras everywhere. To me, it's just kind of what is he protecting?
He's got to protect his safe outside.
What is the allure of him having cameras set up everywhere in the house?
Well,
Is kind
of every person who's into
I did say her name right, Bridget. You better say her name right, rap, ha ha ha, or she will put you in timeout again. I did, Mama She 13. I said it right.
lucrative trades is they have cameras. Trust me.
okay.
You know what I mean by that.
oh yeah.
Well, I could take that different ways. I mean, to be more specific, if you're talking about lucrative trades, it's trading off material items, things that he's getting from if he's getting if it's the transactions. I mean, I'm not going to say.
That's what I'm trying to say, not to either. But there's special things in the world that helps people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
On the same page. We're on the same page. But the clout chasing. I mean, I've mentioned something earlier today about his biography book or autobiography book, whatever you want to call that book he put out.
Well, the first chapter is all about me.
The first chapter, right off the bat. What is it? I mean, how?
Thank you, Mama She. You know I always need the warning. I don't want to be in timeout. Jimbo does like kids. Jimbo is a control freak and a drug dealer, allegedly, definitely, absolutely.
How else could you not define? How else would you define that other than being clout chasing? To sell your book.
Every
book
show Jimbo ever run. Well, he run like 150 something
Let's speed him up a little bit.
shows. I run 130 some of those shows for him. Everything was
Oh,
my
you
name.
hear this, Jimbo?
The ring, all the bills. I mean, everything was the tickets.
I believe everything was in Ernie's name. I feel like Jimbo used Ernie to put everything in his name so he could keep his disability.
Sales, all that everything was in my name. Like Jimbo would have me have to go pick up the tickets for him because if something went wrong in the show. Like when they done the show Border Wars. I ran that whole damn show. I hung every single poster up. I did the promotions. I made the deals with the radios. I done the promotional deals, all that stuff with sign things. Only thing he did was put fighters together. But it was his show. It was his name in the show. I went and picked up all the tickets. I signed for hundreds of thousands of dollars of tickets I signed for. Just because. And if any one of those tickets, and I'm not talking about no cheap tickets. These tickets was like $15, $25, $35, $55, and then they had tables like $200-$300 worth of tables, so anything that was not there, I would have.
I actually believe Ernie when he says this. Nothing is in Ernie Shell's name. Stop Lions Kern. I believe all this stuff was in Ernie's name because Jimbo has to protect his disability, like his channel's name is in Thelmer's name. Exactly. He's got to protect his income so that he can keep drawing that check every month. You need a RAR. Email him at I'm Dr. Walsh. Look, now you're saying my name wrong, Mama She. What the hell? Now she's saying my name wrong. Someone put her in timeout. Now she's saying I'm RAR and not rap, so I'm RAR.
The blame for it. I had to take the blame for it because he made me sign. And see, this ain't his money. This is also the arena's money. That's how they do their tickets, through Ticketmaster, because everything goes through Ticketmaster. And if anything would have been lost or gone, done away with or something like that, I would have to take blame for it because my signature is on for who released the tickets to. So he made sure that I was the one that had to. So anything that Jimbo's ever been involved in with anything that's going to be a risk, he would never sign his name to. So that's why when the ring, his first ever.
Like the check Stelmer writes? Sounds familiar, right? I think Ernie's speaking the truth on Jimbo. Jimbo wouldn't sign that check either because it was a risk, right, Jimbo? You made your wife sign it and put her ass in jail for it, right, Jimbo? Fucking coward.
Ever big ring, the biggest ring that ever was ever built, bigger than the octagon.
We all knew you and BK were sucking each other's dicks behind the scenes.
UFC has. Mine ain't doing the bill of sale, not his.
Well, back to what's going on YouTube? What happened with if you could tell us from your point of view, if you had any kind of carnal knowledge of what was going on, how did it all go south with Ocean Lover? What is how can something, in other words, let me put it this way, something 2 months ago that seemed like it was a good cause to bring awareness to somebody's ailments, to somebody's what I understand, I think it was stage 4 cancer, what she was dealing with, if I ain't mistaken, I may be thinking about that. How can that go south in 2 months, all of a sudden, to where this woman has become a pariah? Well, this woman's completely, I don't know if she's taken her channel completely off YouTube. She's left YouTube. When did all that go wrong?
Okay, so what are we talking about here? Which one?
Thank you so much for the 50 bomb PayPal Anonymous dinner for the best host and hostess on YouTube streets from Anonymous. Thank you so much for the 50 bomb PayPal Anonymous. You're the best. And I am taking her out on a lunch date this week. We are going to go out on a lunch date. I asked her out on a lunch date and she said yes. Solar.
Ocean Lovers and E Squared. I guess they're both piled up in the same category together. I think E Squared was I don't know what kind of significance she had with it, but what caused that to go awry from being a heartwarming explosion of support for an individual that needed help to go to?
Here's the thing. Somebody can have this type of disease. Somebody can be sick and still be, in it for their own selves. It's a fact.
I understand that.
You can have people who are sick or cancer or whatever and still be in it for their own selves. I mean, you can have people who are, not sick and not be for their own selves. So, I mean, it depends on the type of person. And here's the thing. I know how this works because when I joined YouTube, I didn't expect to get the big push that I got. I didn't expect to have the followers that I have.
She was scamming,
I didn't expect none of that. Only thing I did is went back to
I would say that in the chat, but then they're going to hide me, and I'm trying to not get hidden right now. I'm being nice in the chat if you can't tell. I don't know if you guys are reading what I'm saying, but I'm being nice. I'm multitasking. I'm watching our chat on my phone. I'm typing in the chat there, and I'm giving you commentary while I'm reading our chat too. Solar.
My old lessons and my teachings that I was taught through people like Byron Rogers, Joe Larson, Joe Larson, he was Secret Service for Bill Clinton. So, I mean, just places I've been and I've been taught by.
Ernie,
and I just started redoing that and teaching stuff like that. And then, of course, we come off the Predator Hunter Nation thing where we had millions on TikTok. And we brought a lot of followers from that.
They brought a lot of followers, even though he could barely get 200 in his live.
Followers came over from that. But then a lot of people wanted to see more Predator busts, more doing this, more doing that. But the thing about it is, we was met with so much adversary, just hit by everything. Everywhere we went, we was hit everywhere. And pretty soon, without the Predator hunts and Tennessee TCA code like it was, well, that kind of just like it died out. It died out a lot, especially with the Biden administration. Well, the Biden administration destroyed the human trafficking, the whole thing with human trafficking stuff. So, that was one of the major things that happened. I mean, people can say, oh, did this and that, and then they had to go, oh, you're scamming, you're doing it.
Oh, look, Southern Girl's here. I'm watching, but doing catch up. Been busy all morning securing a house. Well, don't forget your Xbox, Southern Girl, when you move into your new house. That's all I got to say. Congratulations.
So even when I was going to do the medallion stuff, I was hit with so much bullshit.
We were calling you out for never fucking sending the medallions, Ernie, and you still haven't sent them. You can't blame the trolls for everything in your life, Ernie. You cannot blame the trolls for everything. It's never the trolls' fault. It's always your fault. You never sent medallions. There never was a medallion. Hell, we got like 4 or 5 different mock-ups of your damn medallions, Ernie. Solar.
People would put in like $3 or $4, and then they would have it called back just to lock my accounts up on PayPal and shit like that, where I couldn't do nothing at all. And I'd already paid for the modes. I paid $250 to have the modes because it was custom modes made on those medallions. And, $250 to have
You did not pay no money to have them fucking molds done on fucking your medallions, Ernie. And if you did, you suck and you need a new graphic designer. God damn.
Modes made for each medallion on sides. That's unheard of for a YouTuber. They don't do that shit. I wanted it to be special. And, of course, got hit with everything. And it's just like when I said I was going to do t-shirts. I'm like, oh, no, you're going to do t-shirts. It took 6 times to find people to do the t-shirts I wanted. Jimbo, right. I gave the art files to Jimbo. Jimbo held off on my t-shirts to help me doing my shirts until he got his crappy ass TV shirts made. Little white ones, little black.
Jimbo, he just called your t-shirts crappy, and they are
stick figure TV on it, and it says The Stand.
Well, let me ask you this. I got a question.
Jimbo's okay. Let's do a poll. I'm gonna do a poll, and this is gonna be a hard poll for you all. but we're going to do this poll. Who shirt was better? Ernie or Jimbo's? All right, I'm asking you guys. We have, how many people we got watching? 343 people are watching, so we need at least like 300 fucking votes, please. Whose shirt design was better, Jimbo's or Ernie's? I know it's a really hard poll, but I want to know your thoughts. Y'all are saying neither. You have to pick one or the other because they're at war. Ernie's or Jimbo's? Which shirt was better? I refuse to answer that poll. No, please answer it. It's okay. Just answer it, please. We got 65 votes. We need like 300 votes. And I know y'all are in here. I see 345 people in here. You better fucking vote. That was a hard to choose. Neither. 75 votes. Come on. We need 300. Third option, Affliction shirt. Nope. I know they both suck, but which one was better? It's not a matter of did it suck or not. It's a matter of whose shirt is better.
Question out here. Somebody's asking. Ernie, will you defend yourself? All right. If Jimbo disrespects you tonight and what he says about what you got up to and what he has on you.
What does he have on me? He don't have shit on me. He's building this, look, what he's doing is exactly what everybody's falling for. He's building stuff up that everybody thinks he's got. Somebody said that he showed a suitcase. Did he show a suitcase? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I have not paid attention to that yet. I'm not really.
It's kind of like me saying, hey, Griff.
Have you all seen Jimbo's shirt? Are you guys literally voting for Jimbo's shirt over Ernie's Latin Tiger one? I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Jimbo's shirt is hideous as fuck. I'd choose Ernie's shirt all day over Jimbo's. People are really voting for Jimbo's shirt. I can't. Oh my God. I mean, whichever shirt you choose, you can burn it, but good God, people are really saying Jimbo's shirt.
I'm going to give you
I put in the chat, I said, Ernie, I did a poll and everyone thinks your shirt was better than Jimbo's.
Here you right now, you take this $100 or you can take this mystery box. You don't know what's inside the mystery box. You're going to be curious what's in that mystery box.
Of course you are.
That's what he's doing right now.
I got you.
That's exactly what he's doing right now. He tested the water out with the letters. He tried to get the high offer for them. You know, BK probably gave him $30 or $40 or something like that. No, BK probably did, you know, but now BK's going, I'm going to burn the letters. You can buy the letters. You want to buy one, you want to buy two, you want to buy a hamburger, you want to buy a BK burger. Which one you want to buy? You know, so that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
$5 for the envelope or something he was saying this morning.
Yeah, he's going to sell it all off. I mean, it seems like it's an auction to find out the most clout, whatever they can garner off of it.
It's an auction, and next thing you know, he's going to be saying, oh, I got colon cancer. You can buy half my asshole if you want to buy it. So,
well, he did say that.
Yeah, he did say colon cancer.
If people want it,
traders. I need to take a shower now. I feel so dirty. I just picked Ernie. Hey, I picked Ernie too. I mean, I hate to say it, but his shirt was way better than fucking Jimbo.
So, did not say that. Be clear. You can't have an asshole if you have half. You cannot.
Right. Well, I mean, he's a hoe ass, so I mean, ain't no half on.
He's a total asshole. That's
total ass. Well, you know what basically is going to end up happening, though. You know what's going to happen is whenever he does come out, they're going to run with it. It's going to garner views. It's going to garner attention, especially from everybody on both sides. And if Rap, you're still in here, you know good and well it's going to be something that you're going to put out. Everybody's going to do that. They're going to put out this information. Whether it's misleading or not, you're going to do it for clout. And that's another thing. The definition of it is just that. It's clout. So to allow this man.
You guys figured it out. I'm trying to get clout off of Ernie Shale.
What I would like to do, I would like to see, is how many would not project this. How many would sit there if you was sitting there, if you would not sit there and push this damn false narrative? Wouldn't that be a difference? Wouldn't that be a change of heart? But it's not going to happen. You know it's not. You know they're going to push it no matter what because it's going to gain views.
It's content.
It's all content. It's lack thereof, basically.
Right. Well, I have to get used to that shit anyways. I mean, because I'm not on there and I don't care about it no more as much as I did. But you know, here's the thing: people are gonna do anything they can for content. Hell, you know, someone said, you know, that I had stuff left in them suitcases and stuff like that. The fact of the matter is, I took everything I had. I took everything I had when I was there. So those suitcases, he probably, him and Thelma, look, all you got to do is read his book, Rise and Fall of Warrior MMA. All you got to do is just
Rise and Fall of the Warrior MMA, for anybody that was asking.
read that damn book. He talks about being with strippers. He talks about being with, so you imagine, he talks about how him and they did threesomes, they did the triangles, they did the hexagons and octagons and all that, you know? So that ought to show you right there what they're into, the lifestyle, guys. And when he says, I live with him, he has to say things like, I lived with him. I lived with him in order to keep me attached. That's it. That's why. I never lived with Jimbo. I would come in and stay 2 or 3 days with him at a time. Oh, I've never seen him paint a mask, but yet I painted over 800 and credited for it in the video game that had millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Thank you, Bridget. Rap is a natural as humor his brains. He does not need to earn. You damn right. Did he just say Thelmer? Yes, he just said Thelmer.
So, you know, here's the thing. He just has to keep me there because he knows that I am that narrative.
He's taking advantage of your friendship, basically. And that's
He takes advantage of anybody's friendship.
Of course he does. But I mean,
who throws a special event for someone, for people that has cancer and stuff, and only give them $30?
Right.
I can find $30 on the end of my shoe and give it to somebody.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: has the friendship worked both ways that way? Has it been kind of a give and take with y'all for over 20 years? It's been over 20 years now. Y'all know each other.
I've known him for about 20 years. Has
it really been a friendship that long? 20 years? I mean, it's actually been. Y'all actually been. I mean, I know y'all been off and on with lately since I've known you in the last year, but has it really been that much of a beneficial friendship, or just been an acquaintance? I mean,
no, it's been mostly acquaintance and stuff. And I let him run with him. We've been best friends for 20 years. He was not my best friend. At one time, he was my best friend. He was my best friend at one time. Until, if you read his chapter.
What, Asia? Asia, really? You need to come up sometime. Talk about these stories. Really, Ernie? Then why did you make the comment about wanting to put meth up my butt? Do what? Asia, we need to set up an interview sometime. That's some strange ass shit. Are you down to do an interview sometime, Asia? What in the hell? Meth up the butt? Do what?
Book, he talks about, hey, we took Ernie's girlfriend. Me and Thelma did. Yeah, they did. They done me very, very dirty on that. He would make thousands and thousands of dollars on these shows that I gave him. I turned over the shows to him because my son was born. I wanted more time with my son. And then he destroyed that. He destroyed all this shit I've ever done. He destroyed so he could keep me on his little leash, I guess you'd say. He would try
so he's trying to hang something over your head.
Yeah, and that's what I've said before. Usually, a lot of times you've ran across people. If you look at all the people that you've ever run across, and I've made this comment not really facetiously, but in theory, from me looking from the outside in, of the people that you've been associated with over the past, it seems to me like they've garnered your attention from some shape, form, or fashion. It's not so much the fact of
this is sped up a little bit
that you reached out to them. How have you come across these people?
Come here,
in other words, each time has it been something that they've been brought into your wheelhouse. In other words, or they've been brought.
He said, "I wonder how you would act if I put meth up your butt." What the fuck? Who says that shit? Why would you even think about doing that? I don't know, Bree. I do not know. That book was given to me and I'm willing to give it away. Oh, shit. They're willing to give it away. My favorite news anchor stuck meth up his butt and died. Whoa, what the hell? Some weird shit. Well, hi, baby.
Hi.
Brought on your radar.
Let me give you an example of it. And Rap would love this. Rap would love to have this. The Shelby Shell stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come here.
When I introduced Shelby to Jimbo,
Over here.
and Shelby had already fought, and I went back and thought about this. Shelby had already fought for Jimbo in 2012. We fought in December the 12th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
He'd already fought for Jimbo, and so he met Jimbo then, but didn't know him. I introduced him after, I think it was the following week after that, and that would be 7 days, 19th, 20th of December. I formally introduced Jimbo. Jimbo was moving; he had to move. So I don't know. This is before. I think this is before Jimbo's house may have burned. Before that, so I introduced. I don't know if it's before. I can't really recall the time, but I introduced him to him. Here's the thing: Shelby would take his wife's vehicle and drive to Corbin all the time. He wasn't hanging out with me. Think about that. From Berea, from Richmond, he was not hanging out with me. So, you know, he would be in Corbin. I mean, I would call him up on the phone and he would just be magically in Corbin. What are you doing? I'm over here. I'm over here at Jim's. I'm over here at Jim's. You know, so I went
Okay,
over. Shelby had spent the night. He had spent the night.
Okay, well, let me clarify this now. Jimbo, in an interview that I done with him last year, him and Kemper, whenever all this stuff come out, his interpretation of that was that you introduced Shelby to him as a means to help Shelby out, to give Shelby some kind of income, that Shelby needed something to do. Did you introduce Shelby to him in that sense? To where that's the reason why.
Well, Jimbo was handicapped, needed people to cut his grass, stuff like that. And that was one of the things that was brought up. But here's the thing. When Jimbo found out what Shelby could do, he was turned on to more than just cutting grass, because they had him, and there's a guy in prison now, Chris Lewis. Him and Jimbo orchestrated a thing for Shelby to steal Chris Lewis's vehicle, and he would turn it in on insurance.
Chris Lewis is the one with the PPP loans, right?
Yes, he owes Chuck Norris over $100,000. Yep.
Right.
You see how this gets kicked up in it? Can you imagine a sidekick from Chuck Norris? That'd suck.
Yeah, I know it.
So yeah, man. I mean, I find it to get into it. I tell you, man. But Shelby stole this guy's car or something like that and burn it to turn it in on insurance. You can look that claim up if you want to. So they can find it. They've got people out there that knows how to do that shit. But where do you think Shelby's connection for Chris Lewis came from? Well, boom, 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 Jimbo.
Okay, I just asked Ernie in the chat, and that's why I've been nice so they don't remove me. But I just asked Ernie, do you know the name of the guy who was in jail for the fires at Jimbo's mom's house? Because he claims there's a guy in jail. Let's see if Ernie knows the name of the guy.
That Shelby come in. Now, Jimbo's. Let me tell you what Jimbo's interpretation was.
Well, let me finish this. That's why when Shelby got put up for what he got put up for, Jimbo invited me into a meeting with Chris Lewis, and I was wondering why Chris was there. I was like, well, why's Chris here for? And Chris was like, look, you got to remember all this, and I know it's hard on you and everything. I'm like, well, what the fuck is he talking about? He's like, it might be 9 years down the road or whenever, but you're going to tell this same story and all that, right? He said, you got to remember all this stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
There is not a man in prison for the arsons. Well, Jimbo claims there is, and I know he's probably lying, but I just want to know if Ernie knows the name of the person.
And they was together. I think they met down there at I'm trying to remember where. It's a Mexican restaurant. I think it was in Corbin. But I was really estranged by that because him and Jimbo were sitting there before I even got there. When I got there,
Shelby and Jimbo knew each other prior.
Well, yeah.
They were already there together, engaged.
Well, Jimbo claims he didn't know him.
Yeah, they knew each other. I mean, so here's the thing. Shelby was invited. Jimbo said he was going to pay Shelby to work for him or something to help him move. I went there one day and helped Jimbo move some of his big heavy furniture because I carried it and stuff. So I brought Shelby over there, and Shelby was saying, well, I'm just going to stay here with Jim, and I'm going to help him do all the things. Well, I left. Well, the next time I seen anything to do with any of them, I mean, of course, I get phone calls and shit. Shelby, which I turned my phone in. I turned all of it in. Of course, I got phone calls from
Sayla says his name is Inmate Good One Inmate 20111. That might be his actual name. I still believe they did set Shelby up, Lisa Bradley.
Both of them. And Shelby's like, I need a ride. I can't come get you, buddy. I'm at work. Because I did work for a sign or whatever it is there. That big factory that's up there. That's actually where I met this lunatic that ended up being Shelby's girlfriend. And I'm like, oh, God dang. And then in the court thing, they said it was my girl. And I'm like, hell no, they got that all wrong. And, just everything went to hell in that whole trial. So, I mean, it was crazy. But, I can't, I don't know. I can't say on what I don't know. And I know. And that's just like I am.
He don't know.
But when after that happened, about 3 or 4 days after that happened, Shelby was with Jimbo in his Tahoe, and they had Ronnie King's pennies or something at Jimbo. I don't know how it was. A big old bag of stuff that he had, and that's all I know about that. That's all.
So Jimbo had the stuff.
That's it. So,
okay, well, let me ask you this. This is what really bothers me. Whenever Jimbo was telling a story about that night, whenever y'all fought, you and Jimbo and his wife, Jimbo's wife, and I think your girlfriend was sitting on the couch. Whenever Shelby come in. This is a week after it happened, supposedly. This is during the time that Kevin Dixon was being held as a suspect for Ronnie King. When Shelby come in that night and told y'all what had happened. Okay. Now, could you tell us what your version of that story?
I just said, Ernie, I would love to do an interview like this together. Griff is doing very well. Let's talk sometime, Ernie. Let's try to get an interview with Ernie because it seems he knows a lot about Jimbo.
I mean, I'm just for curiosity because we've heard Jimbo's version of it, and it's kind of sketchy at best.
Well, Shelby, which part you want to hear from part of it?
Well,
or like which part?
When he first come in that night, if you can just set the stage that night, y'all four were sitting there watching TV when Shelby comes in. That's the way Jimbo interpreted his story is that y'all were sitting there minding your own business, and then Shelby come in and went to telling everybody what was going on.
That's not how it happened.
Okay, well that's what I'm asking you now.
Because
I can keep you updated on what he
that's the
said.
day. That's the day that we went to Harlan. That was afterwards, and it's supposed to be Brothers Day. Is what Shelby called it, Brothers Day.
Mhm.
And he had all the murder stuff in the back of the in a black bag in the back of the car, and he was taking that stuff to use that stuff again to kill the family. Is what he was doing, and he had 5 shots. He had 5 shots in a chamber with a weapon. So he took and he had to go get a file. He had to go get a file, and he purchased a file. Where did he purchase the file at? I'm trying to remember. Lowe's. I think we went to Lowe's and he purchased it. I'm not really sure the file he had. There was a file for a chainsaw that he had to file the weapon with, and I was curious, like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's to take numbers off the weapon.
No, file it down. File the firing pin down. That way it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. Hold on a second. Hold on. It wouldn't work at all with the files. So he had to do that in order to do what he, so the weapon wouldn't fire. That's how he got away with all that. That's why the weapon didn't work that they used in the examiner thing. It'd been filed down.
So basically, what you're telling us is that Shelby dismantled the gun?
Yes, he made it to where it wouldn't work.
He made it where the gun would not work. What was the significance? Was that so he wouldn't? What was his point in doing that? Does that mean the gun?
Well, Shelby said, we just remember Shelby in prison and everything. He said
Right.
where he was around murder and stuff.
Exactly, Asia.
He had learned so much stuff. He said, you can.
Asia says for not knowing, he knows. Yeah, he sure does know. Yes, Lord Carter, I remember that. Oh my God, he just lied. Remember when he said Shelby used his mask file? Yep. Nope, the gun did not fire at all. So he knows the amount of rounds. Sounds like it. He's changing the story about the file. Yep. Keep talking, Ern.
You can take a weapon and you can use it to kill 5 people. He said after that, the gun's no good. You have to file it down because the chambers, he says 1 bullet should be fired from each chamber. So that was his version of it.
Well, was he trying to change the trajectory? In other words, for the forensics on the gun to make sure they could not match the gun to the crime? Is that what he's trying to do?
Exactly.
Trying to change? Okay. That's what I show you.
So that's why I thought, in the trial, it was so bullshitted because nobody was able to cross-examine. They needed to cross-examine the people that was put on the stand. They needed to cross-examine them because they had Lucinda Lay choked up when she said that, he said he's going to hang my kid from ceiling fan, and then the prosecutor went to go and cross-examine, and they wouldn't let. It's just like they didn't even get to cross-examine. I thought it was bullshit because anybody could have cross-examined that and found out that was false. And that's the one in the letters that says, "I'll do anything you tell me to do, Shelby." That's her. So it was all set up. It was all set up in the beginning, and that's what it was for. It was made for just that. So that's what they tried to do. They tried to put me. I mean, they tried to try me on the fucking stand, in court, and I didn't have nothing ever to do with it. Jimbo. Here's something else too. When we went that night, and told the stories to the police for all that. When we went that night, Jimbo comes out. He's like, "Oh my God, man, you've been in there for hours and hours." I said, "No, I ain't. I was in there for 35 minutes. You was in there for 2.5 or 3 hours." I always thought that was weird. I always thought that was really, really weird.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. That's the question I've got because he makes it out like after Shelby.
He just changed the whole story.
Supposedly, the story he tells is Shelby comes in and tells y'all that night what had happened.
No,
he was giving wrong information.
No, Shelby come in and they start talking about.
I'm not the lie with Jimbo. I'm not saying. I'm asking you for your side of it. What I'm saying is to be clear. All I'm telling you is what Jimbo and I've got recorded. You can see it on the live. You can look at yourself. What Jimbo's version of it was. Now I'm just asking you to interpret me what happened that night. And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, now that I look at it and everything, I didn't want to do this because Jimbo had kids and all this other bullshit. But the thing about it is, Jimbo knew more about the damn shit than I ever knew anything about because Shelby hung with him. Shelby was look at this. Who had Ronnie King's stuff? I didn't have it. Jimbo had it, right?
Whoa.
Oh, that's that's kind of
new.
See now the way Shelby talks about it, the way Jimbo talks about
that
it.
You had all of it in your truck.
And the narrative that Jimbo put out on it, Ernie, that night was after he claims that after Shelby comes in and tells y'all the story, y'all are sitting there dumbfounded on the couch.
Jimbo, he's throwing you under the bus saying you had Ronnie King's stuff, Jimbo. What you gonna do about it, Jimbo?
He turns to you and says, "Did this just happen? Did that really just happen?" And he says the first remark out of your mouth, Ernie, was, "Jimbo, you were next on his list." That's exactly what come out of Jimbo's mouth.
That's the way a victim or a potential victim always plays a spot. I never heard that. See, I never heard that. That's the first time I've ever heard that in my life. When Shelby comes in, he's talking about he's going back. First thing he says, "I'm going back to prison." And Jimbo's like, "Why you want to do these things?" He's like, "Well, I ain't gonna be long anyways. I'm getting ready to go back anyways." He was shaking. Shelby was shaking, and Jimbo was like, "Well, why you say that shit? Well, why you know?" I'm like, he's like, "Well, don't you want to find you a beautiful woman or nothing like that?" That's when Shelby says, "Oh no! I can easily find a celly," and that's what Shelby called them was cellies. I can find a celly and make them grow long hair, and they're just as good as a good piece of ass. Is what he said. Or he said a good piece of ass is just as good as a puss or something. So trigger words. There you go. That's what he said. He makes his cellies grow long hair. Shelby's been caught for that. Shelby does do that. So that's Shelby's MO. So you know, at that point, but I didn't know that Jimbo had the bag of pennies or whatever he tried to sell them to him. Even Jimbo was he admitted that. So I mean, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, he come out and he basically said that what the internal events was that it was a shell shocking moment. But the first thing that he claimed that you said was that you were next on his list. Now it didn't really make much sense to me either. He also said you was hesitant about going down to the police station, that he had to talk you into going to the police station. Now, like I said, this is all verbatim, exactly what the story he told.
No, that ain't what happened.
Yeah, don't hurt the dog, Ern.
No. First person I called when I found
Ernie, let's talk about the phone call between Amber and you, and the Kentucky State Police went with Amber and recorded your phone call, and you knew all the details about the murder, Ernie.
that anything was I called Chris Burr. Chris Burr's right.
He does stipulate the fact that you was in the police station longer than he was.
No, I was in there for about 35 or 40 minutes. He was in there for 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, he claimed that you was in there for a while.
No, Jimbo tried to throw that narrative on me even when he's like, "Man, what are you doing in there so long?" I wasn't in there long, dude. I timed it. So yeah, Jimbo went first.
So he claimed you went first.
No, Jimbo went first.
Look, I'm not trying to feed you anything that's not truthful. I'm telling you what he said on my live. He made the comment that you were the first one to go in there. By the time he got down
it's on the statements. It's on the statements because they was recorded statements. Because they like when they record your statement, they're saying it's so and so this time at this hour. Look whose hour's first. Jimbo's is.
Yeah,
Simple.
But that's just like I said. I'm not saying that I'm not trying.
Sure, I see you, says Ernie Shell was there, and I bet he fired the shot. The only reason why I can agree with that is because of the woman who testified on the stand saying he held a pillow and gun to her head, and that's the exact way Ronnie King died. That's not a coincidence. So, I mean, I could definitely agree with that to an extent. Allegedly, definitely, or absolutely.
I'm not trying to argue, just tell you what his story is. And you can go back and look at the live. Anybody out there can go back and look at it. You can see the statements he made. Because, see, I had him tell me this story on the phone prior to him coming on live to make sure everything was going to be straightened up the part. He won't no surprises. So I had him go ahead and tell me that story before. And I called him in that live. Apparently, if it's a lie, what you're saying it is. He made that comment clear. And I called him. I said, wait a minute. That didn't bother you at all? After everything that you're saying went down.
It's on my phone. It's on my phone. Shelby called me. Shelby called me a couple of days prior to that.
Yeah, I slowed the chat. It was going pretty slow on my end, so I slowed it.
I need your help. I need you to come. I need you to come up to Richmond now and pick me up. I've killed my wife, is what he said. And I said, what are you talking about? So I said, dude, what are you talking? They said they playing a joke on me. That's when the makeup and all that came into effect about Jimbo having makeup to give to his wife. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got up there, supposedly Shelby had thrown his wife through the window and he had pulled some shit out on him. I don't even know. His wife told me that Shelby had pulled the weapon out and he shot a hole in the wall and then was playing Russian roulette with the weapon, which I've seen Shelby do before. I've seen Shelby take a pistol and put a shell in it, spin it, put it to his head, pull a trigger. So, I mean, that's
exactly, Virginia. Shelby's IQ is 75 and couldn't do this crime alone, for sure, or at all.
Shelby, he done that shit.
Okay, listen, Ernie, I'm going to ask you something. I know how this is going to be coming out. I know how it's going to be said. But I would like to do this, if you don't mind. I would like just to stop where we're at right now. Don't go no further with what we're talking about right now. And
he knows Ernie's saying too much.
I'd like to see, if you wouldn't mind, coming on with me later, we'll get this out there. I want to hear, this is part of the story that I've not heard, that I'm very fascinated with, because
please, let's keep Ernie talking, Griff.
All we've been given is one side of the story. This is a part of the story, and you might have told the story, but it's been hidden underneath all the bullshit, all the melee, all the crap that other people from the other streamers, the other people that use your content, distorted and broke it out of proportion. This is the part of the story that we haven't heard. And I would like to know, if you'd be possible, if I can bring you back on later on. Might not be today, it might be tomorrow, hopefully today. If you wouldn't mind coming back on and us talking about this, and I'd like to dive into it if you don't mind. Because what I'm saying is, Ernie, I think there's people out there that really need to hear this story. They need to hear your side of it. Exactly, when we're contradicting the fact that
MAGA won't let Mac back on YouTube later.
But Jimbo's out there, the narrative that Jimbo has put out. You see what I'm saying? On
Well, see,
my
the thing
life.
about it is, I'm not listening to none of it. I'm not listening to his narrative. I don't
Okay, well, I
watch
know you're
other
not. I know
channels.
you're not.
You know,
I know
people,
you're
here's the
not.
thing, people say I'm a liar. I'm not a liar about this stuff. I'm not,
That's not what
because
I'm saying.
I didn't know about it. I didn't know nothing about it. I was
What
brought
I'm
in
saying,
unaware.
would you be willing to come on and let's talk about it? Let's start from the beginning of that. Whenever all that shit broke down, the real story. Let's hear your side of the story. That way, people can get an alternate view of what's going on. Because right now, we're hearing everybody else's side of it except yours. We've seen the court documents. We've seen all that. Anybody that's ever done a deep dive into this case has seen all that.
All right, I'm being transparent with y'all. I just put in the chat, Ernie, I feel like me and you could take Jimbo down. I never got to hear your side, and this was very eye-opening.
Well,
Let's
let's
get that interview with Ernie.
do it. Let's do it in a couple of days. We can do it in a couple of days. That way it gives people time to plan for it and everything, or a day or so. That way, because Jimbo may be in jail by then. So, oops, I didn't say nothing, did I?
Did he just say Jimbo's going to jail too? Oh shit. I'm supposed to be in jail too, aren't I, Ernie?
But
Oh, God, I can't say no more. I can't say no more.
From your mouth to God's
Oh,
ears.
shit.
But we'll give Ernie a chance to go back and watch
Right.
that
And I'll give you
live.
a chance to go ahead and refresh yourself, because I mean, I don't want you. I'm not trying to catch you off guard or nothing. I just want to know. I want that way. I can go ahead and put comparativeness. Maybe I can bring you on, and we can also listen to Jimbo's version of it. I can probably put it on here with us, so we can actually correlate. Where you can see where I'm coming from with this. Where you can see, and you can put.
Did you guys know that Jimbo's under an investigation right now and he don't even know it?
No, I had no idea about it.
We don't follow Jimbo.
Oh, okay. Well, I know about it.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I do pay attention to him. You can't
Well,
help
now he knows, Ernie.
that, Ernie. You know that. We all got to pay attention to these people.
I know about it.
Okay.
But that's that. I would like that if you don't mind. We can just we'll get off of that subject right now for now. But not trying to just. I think that's something that really
Jimbo goes live at 3, 2, 1.
needs to be touched, and it could also give a lot of these other people an opportunity because you know they're going to do it. You know damn well as soon as we schedule this, it's going to be something that's going to.
We're gonna
It's going to be half a dozen damn people is going to be live streaming the whole damn thing. But instead, maybe we can get them to where they're all going to come in and actually be involved in the chat instead of doing such thing. Make it something that we're hearing the different side of it instead of everybody getting pinpointed on one side and fixated on one version of the story. Maybe we can get a little bit more story, a little bit more content to it. Where actually we can get a more of an open-minded.
Well, I always said that Ernie had
I'm
nothing
Virginia, and it's only Monday, folks. Yeah.
to do with it.
I'm going to get an interview with Ernie this week.
And I felt like there was more that Jimbo was more involved in.
I think it's been made this way, and that's my opinion. My opinion too. I think that you have been because it was your brother. That's obvious. It was your brother, and it seems like the outside forces involved in this that have all been adapted. They've made themselves part of the case, whether they admit to or not. They influence it in one way or the other. They're influencing whichever narrative they want to push, and it's all beneficial to themselves.
You're gonna hear a lie. You're gonna believe a lie before you believe
Right, and the truth ain't colorful enough. The truth's not colorful enough, but it is relevant as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
And I want to know the truth. I think others out here do want to know the truth, and I think it's something that can bring shed light on things that maybe there's questions about.
Maybe people start leaving Ernie the hell alone.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Ernie, what I'm getting at is if you want closure, if you want to try to continue on and do your own thing, you're going off of YouTube. Maybe this is the way of closing that.
Yes, Couponing Madonna.
So to speak.
Right.
And I appreciate you giving us the honor to telling your story.
Come on, big boy. I can hear it now, Peach says. Yep, you can hear it now. Griff wants to get his views up, and he wants to be like you, General Awareness, interviewing people. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. Hell, we're getting a good interview right here, and then we'll turn around and interview Hunter too. I'm going to email him after this live.
You know.
Thank you.
No, we thank you. I mean, because we have heard all different stories. And up until here recently, you know, it's not that I believe what Jimbo had to say when he did that live with Griff and Matt Kemper back, you know, a year ago. But some of the things that he said just don't add up, you know, and then you're not.
I myself know that I have, all along the past this year, I have been able to look back at what was said and where our paths crossed. I see a lot of points that I have questioned myself that now I'm starting to see that there was pushing. They were basically, I was being guided one way or the other. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think that there's a lot of issues here that I would like to bring forward, and I would like to clarify it. And I think for my own benefit as well as your others.
Here's the thing. When you remember when the stand first came, they recruited you, right?
Right. Well, I mean, yes.
Why did they recruit you for?
They pushed through me. They recruited me at the same time. They found a voice.
Thank you, Beth, for the 10 bomb cash app for Love You Rap, Smoky Mountain Mama, and Tofu. You forgot Millie. You can't forget Millie, Beth. But thank you so much for your support, and I'll tell Millie you love her too.
You're right.
That murder for hire.
And murder for hire shit and all that crap. You know, all that crap went on. There was a lot of stuff that was conjectured, but they did it on purpose. They did it purposely.
Well, everybody heard the videos from Murder for Hire. That wasn't me. That was him, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that's how
we
got involved.
He even admitted that part. That now looking back on it back then.
Ern is probably uncomfortable with another interview, but maybe Rap can convince him. Just trust the process, okay? Trust the process. Because I do want to hear Ernie's side. He seems to have a lot of information on Jimbo. And just trust the process. When I do interview him, I'm going to be calm. Okay? I'm just letting you guys know I'm going to be calm. I'm not going to jump all over him. You know, I'm gonna make him feel welcome. So trust the process.
Back then, I didn't really catch it, but now looking back,
if you can get into those type of conversations with someone and talk about killing you, fakely killing you, and taking all this money, and then you getting
the last thing we want is someone who's innocent back in prison for the murder. You know, so we need to hear his side.
And them getting there, or them giving you 20,000, them taking 10 or whatever, you know, and upping it. That shows you they're just in it for the damn money, and that shows you what sick, vile person somebody's mind can be. I never done that shit.
You're exactly right.
I was crying, dude. I was crying in that phone call. I was crying in that phone call, thinking like, you know, this person here, I'd work for. I know this person, and then for them to set up murder for hire, think about it, dude.
That's true. There's a lot of misleading information out there by people that wants to channel through you. I'm one of those people that's been channeled that way. I admit that. But now that I'm beyond that, and I want to know the real, I want to know what's really going on, what really happened. And that's the only way to me, exposing these people what they are.
Charlie Gray is the person's name. General Awareness asked the guy that's in jail. It was his name's Charlie. So let me tell you what happened. Charlie Gray, he's in jail right now. He can't.
Charlie Gray. Let me write that down. Ernie claims it's Charlie Gray, the person who's in jail for the fires at Jimbo's.
Stand Jimbo, because this guy robbed a bunch of subways. And when it come time to now check this out. When he robbed now listen how this connects. He robbed a bunch of subways. The girl that he had robbed was the woman who was on stand at Shelby's trial. Her daughter, he had robbed. He had robbed like 4 or 5 subways. And then how come that car, that little blue, I think it was a blue car at the time, was at Jimbo's? Like 3 days prior to that, because that's Jimbo's family member. Nobody know that. I didn't know that until I started looking into it. That's also the person who supposedly Jimbo got to set his house on fire to try to collect for insurance. However, the insurance, I think, turned him down or something. Said it was arson.
They had
because he done it wrong.
Yes, it was arson, Ernie.
Therefore, the bank took back over. Everybody, they lost the house. Now they rebuilt the house or whatever now, and it's owned by the bank.
They waited too long. They tried to wait too long to nullify the results or something like that. They waited too long, and the judge didn't go in their favor or some shit like that.
Well, everybody thinks I'm always the one in mischief. I'm not. I'm always the one cleaning up the shit, because Jimbo mostly, like with the shit, there's a guy who wrote him $100,000 or $80,000 check one time. Jimbo went to the bank and cashed it. Where Jimbo had been a loan member, he had cashed a check. He goes out and he buys Dodge Chargers and big ass screen TV. That's Jimbo's favorite, big screen TVs. It's always a damn big screen TV with him. But he buys all this shit and everything, and the bank calls back and says the check's no good. Well, the guy's in prison now. The guy's name was Jason. Damn, I can't remember his last name. I had to look it up.
Ernie Shell does say he never worked for Ronnie King and he didn't know him, Pink. You are completely right about that.
But he wrote a bunch of checks and everybody thought he was a millionaire. He tricked towns, cities, and all that. But Jimbo was one of the guys he tricked. So the bank sued Jimbo, and he had to take all his stuff back and everything. At that time, Jimbo was so broke he had to sell the company, Warrior FC. So he asked me, he's like, "Do you want a dog? Do you want to buy Warrior FC?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, I gave you the damn." So it was Warrior FC. Mine was Reality Fighting Championship. Get it, FC. That's where he got all this shit at. Was from me. I owned everything before he ever done anything. Fact.
Ernie, what's going? A lot of people are going to ask this question. They're going to come up with it. If all this,
I can't find anyone in Kentucky prison with that name. Can you find anybody in the area with that name, Nicolina? Because we could probably find him and interview him and see why they're saying he did the fires at Jimbo's mom's house.
Misleading shit, all this damn mischievous shit was going on in the background. How are these people so confident to come out against you, to talk all this crap against you, and to be so confident it's going to carry over them? They got to know that at some point in time you was going to step up and you was going to say derogatory comments toward their misleading facts.
Well, here's the thing, Griff. I've never said nothing about nobody. I've always kept quiet about everything.
Their comments about you, how they've used that, how they've used these comments about you to make themselves look better. They had to know at some point in time that it's always going to.
Yes, Virginia. Hate watchers, we strongly recommend you watch the uncut version of the trial right here. It's enlightening. Yes, it is. He said Chuck Gray, right? No, he said Charlie Gray, Nicolina. Charlie Gray. And I'm assuming it's Grey. But Charlie Gray is what he said.
It's going to come back and bite him in the ass.
Well,
That the truth was going to come out. What was their thought process in thinking that you was going to call this under wraps and weren't going to say nothing about it?
Well, they know that the money's good when it's good. They don't ever think about what the consequences is. Nobody never does. And when you're ever doing a crime, you don't think about what the consequences is. You think that the money train or the money gravy train is going to be there the whole damn time. When it finally runs dry, that's when people know then, because reality hits them in the face.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. I'm going to ask you this one. It's a straightforward question I've got to ask. Ernie, is any of this information that's being put out there scripted in a way to where it gives you attention no matter what? In other words, are you, some of this stuff been allowed to come out? I have to ask this question. It wouldn't be common sense if I didn't. I mean, is any of this misleading information that we're all getting conjecture in order to draw views and attention, no matter if it's negative or positive? I mean, what part we got?
No, man. Like I said, I just got this link just a few minutes ago. I think they hit me up in the private chat. They hit me up with the link. They said, "Oh Lord," and I just clicked it and I seen my name right off on the comments. I said, "Shit, I got to go say something." I seen what was going on, and I did. And I'd already.
What I'm saying is any of this misleading information out there? Was it beneficial? Was it beneficially put out? Was it been out there? Was it put out there in order to draw?
Well, think about this. Amber was scared to death. Amber was scared to death to think that the letters that I had came from her, right?
Amber was scared of you, Ernie, and she still is.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she's like, "Oh, I've got them on my security and everything." She tried to scare me and Lisa both up, saying that we broke into her house. You remember that shit, right?
Right.
Why was Amber so scared? What letters does she have that she don't want nobody to have? Think about that. There's a good one.
Regardless of how it plays out, Ernie is always going
Not today. If you're in here, maybe we could get those letters from Amber and throw them in BK's face. I mean, hell, why not?
to be involved in it because Shelby is his brother, regardless if he wants to be involved in it or not. They're going to associate Ernie with Shelby regardless. And it's not, that's not Ernie when he had nothing to do with it.
Well, even Jerry, I would love to talk to Jerry Wynn. I could cross-examine her on that shit. When she was talking about the boys that supposedly hung out and everything that I hung out with.
There's exactly how I can get Ernie to do an interview. I could bring Jerry Wynn up with it if she's comfortable.
Cody and all them boys there. I've never hung out with him. Shelby hung out with him. She got us confused bad there. She said she never knew Shelby. Yes, she did know Shelby. So
he listened to the interview with Jerry Wynn. Ernie listened to the interview with Jerry Wynn.
Never hung out with those boys.
Already on it. Nice, Mandy.
Bring those boys up and they would tell you, we hung out with all them boys and Jesse Farley and stuff. I hardly even know those boys. Shelby Shell's the one who hung out with those boys, not me.
He just admitted to listening to the interview with Jerry Wynn.
So there you go.
Next question, Ernie. She said, you said Shelby took one of your matchmaking files. I don't know what she means by that.
Yeah, but he couldn't use it. It wasn't right. It didn't fit in the barrel, he said, or something like that. It was a chainsaw. It was not a chainsaw file, but a file, flat file is what it was. 12-inch file.
It was a file for making the damn the mask, right?
Oh yeah, all the supporters of Shelby supporters and shit's been misled. And here's the thing, when this first happened, everything, and all this come out.
Good gosh, Nicolina, he looks violent, don't he?
It made national news or whatever the hell.
It is GRAY, maybe.
I was scared for Shelby. Until did you know that there was a point when Shelby went in jail, Shelby tried to say that Jimbo set him up. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's on recorded phone calls. His first ever phone call.
Wait, I thought Ernie wasn't paying attention to all this shit. Now he knows everything about it.
To me, it was in. I think it might have been in Harlan. It might have been in the Harlan jail.
What did he say to you? Say it again.
That Jimbo tried to set him up. So this is before Jimbo's friend had died, Sean. Remember the one he talks about that he had to do his dirty work? He's the one that whooped Josh Shanks. After Josh was with them, Jimbo couldn't whoop Josh, so he paid a fighter, a professional fighter. Well, not a professional fighter, but he might have been professional at the time, to go and whip Josh Shanks. And he did. He went and whipped Josh Shanks. That fighter's no longer with us. He's dead now, but he did. So
Yeah,
so that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. I mean, people can believe whatever they want to believe, but the fact of the matter is, I know nothing about anything that happened. I wasn't the one that stayed with Jimbo like that. Shelby's the one that stayed with him and done some things with him. Now, this other shit that I found out, you need to go to the insurance company, and I think it might be Farm Bureau that might have had Chris Lewis's. Let me think. I think it might have been the Kentucky Farm Bureau that had Chris Lewis's information. Now, with me and Chris Lewis, I was Chris Lewis's head security guy, his executive guy. That's what I was in these big shows and stuff that he put on. He stepped me out of when the FBI, even the FBI and stuff. When I talked to them, Chris Lewis stiffed me out of $4,000, about $4,000 at the time.
But to hear Jimbo tell it, he tried so hard to try to convince everybody that
Okay, Squids, I'll check it out.
him and Shelby, he only knew Shelby through you. That you were the catalyst that brought him and Shelby together. That he had only seen Shelby through you, and that you brought Shelby in his mix.
Well, Jimbo shows. Well, here's the thing. Jimbo shows Shelby Shell fighting on December 12th of 2012 in his show, not my show. Jimbo show. How'd that happen?
Mm-hmm. Do you think Kevin Dixon had anything to do with Shelby when it's in the whole thing? In your own opinion?
Not really. I don't know Kevin that well.
Of course, he's gonna say not really.
Well, like I said, you know, Kevin. I knew him
Now he's saying he don't know Kevin that well.
through school and stuff like that. I never hung out. We never hung out ever. So when you know, I've heard two different sides of the story. Kevin, I don't know about Kevin. Like I said, Kevin said one thing to Rap. He said another thing to Rap. Then he switched his story around on me, and he's told me two different things. So I don't know who to believe.
And then you contacted him, Ernie.
Kevin's a flavor of the month. So that's all I can say about it.
Okay.
Well, Chasing Justice is and she keeps bringing up. She's got a clip of you claiming that Shelby used your file. Did he? In other words, to clarify this, could he have tried to use your file, but it wouldn't work?
No, Shelby asked me to bring. Dude, it was all in text messages. The police have everything. Shelby had asked me to bring a file, the file that I'd use to file my mask down. So you take a file and you file the edges around the plastic down,
right?
And you know sometimes a fiberglass depends on what kind of mask you got. And he'd asked, especially if you ain't got no good sandpaper. So he'd asked me to bring that file he'd seen me using. And I was like, for what? Oh, I just need you to bring it, all that. Well, I couldn't find the file. So he had to stop. I think it was at Lowe's. Lowe's is beside Walmart there in Corbin. So he had to do that.
File, right? That's a file that you would use mainly on wood, fiberglass, and such. It wouldn't really work on metal, right?
Yeah, no one.
No, it would work on anything.
The
It's a heavy
from my understanding.
industrial file. It would work on anything. That's why I got it. Because it's an all-purpose file, but he couldn't put it. He couldn't use it in a weapon because he couldn't. He couldn't file. He couldn't.
Flavor of the month. Did that mean he fucked Dixon? Probably, Squids. Wouldn't surprise me.
File into the weapon and everything. He used a toil chainsaw file is what he used.
A little small, like a diamond file or a round file.
A diamond. It's like the little round circular ones, the tubular ones.
Right. Got you.
The ones you go through the chainsaw.
Flavor of the month.
I got you. So it's a whole different setup altogether. But he did ask you for a file, and that was pretty much as far as when he asked you for a file, but he couldn't use it. Right.
So what's that?
He did ask you for a file, but basically you couldn't use that file.
Yeah, you couldn't use the file. I couldn't find it that day, anyways.
Okay.
Like I said, it was all spur of the moment stuff.
I got you.
Well, Ernie, we do want to thank you for coming on here this morning. I know it was short notice, and you graciously applied to come on here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I want you to think it. I don't want you to ever think I was trying to coerce you out.
Oh no,
I was just trying to make a point.
Jim, one more thing, Jimbo, you need to tell the truth about your daughter's vehicle being busted. Her windows and stuff you said got busted. That didn't happen. You collected money, and I didn't know that until I looked at the reports and stuff that you had said you had, and that ain't what it was. It was a tire that was busted, and that was an old ass damn dummy tire that you put on their vehicle. You claimed to your subs that that they had busted the windows out or something like that for your daughter. Like one of the trolls attacked. That's a lie. That's a lie right there. I remember when you asked Sarah to tell me about it, and she was like, "What are you talking about, Dad?" So
That's
that right there was
like
all about it.
Before when somebody tried to claim that somebody busted windows out of a car, out of a truck.
Well, Jimbo likes to go back and he likes to get these messages.
Wow, Jimbo. Ernie just threw you under the bus again.
And what Jimbo will do, Jimbo's like Benny Keys and them, they talked about how they do it. They taught each other how to fake messages on, like they'll take a black,